This audiobook reveals the hidden truth about universal communication. The universe isn't silent, it speaks constantly through signs, intuition, dreams, and people. When you learn to listen, you unlock the guidance that's been waiting for you all along. Introduction. You are already in a conversation with the universe. You are not alone in this world, not in your thoughts, not in your questions, not in the silent, aching moments when you wonder if anyone or anything is listening. Because something is. The universe is. Right now, always. You may not hear it with your ears, but you feel it in your chest, in those uncanny moments of knowing, in the perfect timing of events that feel too aligned to be random. This audiobook is not about teaching you how to speak to the universe. You already do. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is a broadcast. You've probably been taught that manifestation is about asking, about focusing hard enough, visualizing long enough, and speaking affirmations into a void that hopefully hears you. But that's only half the truth. What most people never tell you is this: the universe talks back. It speaks in whispers and nudges, in coincidences and signs, in dreams, numbers, symbols, strangers, and sudden urges that seem to come from nowhere but somehow know exactly where you are. And most of all, it speaks through your intuition, that deep inner knowing that doesn't need logic, only trust. This audiobook is your invitation to go deeper, to move from asking to listening, to understand that manifestation is not a one-way conversation. It's a dialogue between your soul and the source, between your inner frequency and the energetic field of reality. The universe is not a cold expanse of stars. It is a conscious, loving force that echoes back whatever you are radiating. This is not mysticism without grounded. It is a principle as old as time and as modern as quantum physics. Energy flows where attention goes, and the universe mirrors that energy back to you. We will journey through the subtle but profound ways the universe responds to you, ways you may have already experienced without knowing what they were. Have you ever thought about someone moments before they texted you? Have you ever seen repeating numbers during a time of inner change? Have you dreamed of something symbolic and then watched it unfold days later? These are not accidents. They are answers. The universe is always answering, always affirming, always aligning. But you must be tuned in to receive. In this audiobook, we'll explore the language of the universe and how it communicates through vibration, frequency, emotion, and symbols. You'll learn how to set intentions that the universe can clearly understand, how to listen to your intuition and trust it as guidance, how to recognize synchronicities and signs in daily life, and how to navigate challenges as messages, not blocks. We'll discuss dreams, the roles people play as mirrors, and the sacred timing of manifestation. Most importantly, we will practice deep listening, the kind that silences doubt and strengthens trust. This isn't just information, it's a reconnection, a return to the truth you've always felt but perhaps never fully embraced. That the universe is not outside of you, but within you. That your energy, thoughts, and emotions are part of a greater intelligence that weaves together your reality. And when you align with that intelligence, when you speak clearly and listen closely, miracles no longer feel like miracles. They feel like answers you are finally ready to hear. So, if you've been chasing signs, asking for proof, and wondering if your desires are heard, this journey is for you. By the end of this audiobook, you won't just speak to the universe, you will understand it, you will trust it, you will partner with it. And in that trust, you will find the answers, the direction, and the peace that has always been whispering your name. Let us begin this journey with the most fundamental key to understanding the universe, its language. Chapter 1. The Language of Energy, How the Universe Truly Speaks. Before the universe can be heard, you must first understand how it speaks. Its voice is not carried by sound waves, but by vibrations, not delivered in human words, but in frequency. The universe speaks through energy, and energy at its most essential level is all that exists. Everything is energy. This is not metaphor, it is science. From the solid desk beneath your hands to the emotions stirring within your chest, all things are made up of vibrating particles. Your thoughts? Energy. Your beliefs? Energy. Your feelings especially? Pure, potent energy. And this energy doesn't sit still. It moves. It flows. And it broadcasts out into the quantum field, which is the universe's version of a listening station. Think of it this way. You are a transmitter, and the universe is the receiver. You are always sending out frequencies through your emotions, your expectations, and your dominant beliefs. And the universe, in turn, is always responding. It listens to your vibration, not your wishes, not your desperation, not even the words of your affirmations if they don't match your energy. It responds to the energy behind it all. And this is where so many seekers get confused. They say, I've been saying my affirmations. I've written down my desires. I've asked clearly. But if beneath that asking, you are vibrating in lack, in fear, in doubt, then that is what the universe echoes back. It mirrors your true frequency, not the words you say, but the vibration you carry when you say them. That is why learning to consciously manage your energy is the most important step in learning how to listen and speak to the universe. So how do you shift your vibration? It begins with awareness. What are you feeling most often? What are you truly believing about your desire? Do you want abundance but feel unworthy of receiving it? Do you long for love but expect rejection? These inner contradictions create a static signal, and the universe can only mirror what is consistent and clear. The clearer your energy, the clearer the response. Your emotions are the strongest indicators of your vibration. Joy, gratitude, love, hope, these are high-frequency states. They don't just feel good, they align you with the flow of life. They make you magnetic. On the other hand, guilt, fear, resentment, and doubt lower your frequency. They cloud your signal and often attract more of the same. That's why emotional self-awareness is not just therapeutic, it's spiritual. It's practical. It is how you learn to send the signal that brings back what you actually want. Now, let's talk about intentional vibration. This is where manifestation moves from passive to powerful. Meditation, visualization, affirmations, gratitude, and embodiment practices all serve one purpose: to raise and stabilize your frequency to match your desires. When you sit in stillness, you clear the noise. When you visualize, you create a sensory imprint of your desire already fulfilled. When you affirm, you reprogram your subconscious. When you practice gratitude, you say to the universe, I already have, which is the most powerful way to receive more. You don't need to beg the universe. You don't need to convince it. You simply need to match the frequency of what you want. You need to tune your inner station to the reality you wish to live. And the moment you do, the universe responds not because it is finally willing, but because you are finally aligned. It's important to understand that you are never not manifesting. Every moment of your life is part of the manifestation process. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you are always communicating with the universe. The key is to bring that communication into awareness, to deliberately emit the signal you wish to receive back. So, start by tuning in. Feel what you feel, without judgment. Listen to the emotion beneath your thoughts. Let yourself become aware of your dominant frequency. And if it is not what you want to attract, gently begin to shift. One better feeling thought at a time. One breath, one affirmation, one step. Because once your energy becomes intentional, once your vibration becomes clear, once your frequency aligns with the life you desire, the universe doesn't hesitate. It echoes. It mirrors. It delivers. And it all begins with this simple, ancient truth. The universe speaks in vibration, and your energy is your language. Chapter 2. Setting intentions that speak clearly to the universe. Not weak wishes, not vague hopes, but clear, committed, unwavering intentions that ring out like tuning forks through the field of energy that surrounds and sustains us all. When you set an intention, you send out a message not only to the universe, but to your own subconscious. You create a declaration, a signal, a line drawn in the sand between randomness and divine precision. An intention is more than a goal. It's the alignment of desire, thought, emotion, and vibration into a singular energetic command. It's not begging for change, it's becoming the change in advance. When you set a true intention, you're not just asking for something, you are assuming its arrival. And in that assumption, the universe begins to move, the unseen gears begin to turn. The invisible paths begin to unfold. But here is where many get lost. Their intentions are unclear, vague, shaky. They ask for love, but don't define the kind of love that uplifts. They ask for money, but feel guilty or conflicted about receiving it. They desire freedom, yet fear responsibility. The universe cannot fulfill a foggy order. It mirrors only clarity. Ambiguity invites delay. Mixed signals create mixed results. So if you truly want to co-create with the universe, your intentions must be vivid, strong, and grounded in emotional truth. Imagine walking into a restaurant and telling the waiter, "Bring me something good." He'll smile politely. But what does that mean? To some, good is sweet. To others, savory. You may end up with a dish you don't like, not because the universe is cruel, but because your request lacked specificity. In manifestation, specificity is not about control, it's about clarity. It's about knowing yourself well enough to ask for what truly aligns. Start by asking, what do I really want? Strip away the noise of other people's opinions, the weight of your past disappointments, the shoulds and expectations. Get honest with your soul. What is it that stirs your heart? That awakens you, that you would want even if no one ever praised you for having it? Once you've found that desire, describe it. Write it down as if it's already yours. Not, "I want a new job," but "I am thriving in a fulfilling role where my creativity is valued and my work uplifts others." Not, "I want to be in love," but "I am in a deeply connected, joyful, and harmonious relationship that supports my growth." Bring it to life, with emotion, with color, with detail. See it, feel it, taste it in your mind's eye. The more specific the vision, the louder the signal. And then, infuse your intentions with feeling. Emotion is the electric charge that brings an intention to life. Without emotion, intentions are flat, just mental notes without energy. But when you speak your desires with feeling, when your body responds, your heart opens, your breath changes, that's when your signal reaches the field with power. Feel it as real. Let your body believe. Because the universe doesn't just respond to thought, it responds to embodied belief. Now, here is a sacred practice to strengthen your intentions. Scripting. Take a journal and write as if you are already living the life you desire. Write in the present tense. Describe your mornings, your routines, the emotions you feel. Write about your gratitude for what has unfolded. This is not delusion. This is pre-alignment. You're telling the universe, "I'm not waiting, I'm becoming." You're stepping into the vibrational space where your future self already lives. Another powerful tool is affirmations, but only when they are rooted in truth. If you say, "I am rich," while your mind screams, "No, you're not," the affirmation becomes noise. Instead, Start with bridge statements. I am learning to attract wealth. I am opening to greater abundance every day. As belief grows, you can elevate your language. Eventually, your affirmations will feel true, and when they do, they become declarations. Not hopes, facts in motion. Visualization is another sacred doorway. When you close your eyes and see yourself in the state of already having, already being, already living the desire, you bring your energetic body into alignment. The universe begins to rearrange reality to reflect that image. But again, don't just see it, feel it. Emotions are the ink that write on the quantum field. If you feel called, create a vision board. Fill it with images, words, and symbols that speak to your soul. Not just material things, but feelings, environments, experiences. Hang it where your eyes can fall upon it daily. Let it be a visual reminder that your desires are not just fantasies, they are frequencies, and you are tuning to them now. Now let us speak of one of the most important but overlooked aspects of intention setting: alignment with your core values. Many people set intentions that contradict their deeper truths. They ask for fame, but value privacy. They desire wealth, but believe money is evil. When your intentions are not aligned with your values, you create inner resistance, and resistance muddies the signal. So reflect deeply. What do I truly value? Is it freedom, love, integrity, creativity, peace? Let your intentions rise from these roots. A desire born of your soul's truth is 10 times more magnetic than one born of ego or fear. The more aligned your desire, the more natural and sustainable the manifestation becomes. And finally, remember this: intention is not a one-time event, it's a practice. Revisit your desires, refine them. Life will change you. You will grow. What you want today may evolve tomorrow. That's not failure, that's expansion. Keep your intentions alive by keeping them present. Write them down often. Read them aloud. Feel them. Adjust them as needed. This keeps the signal fresh and responsive. Avoid common pitfalls. Don't set intentions from a place of lack. Don't say, I don't want to be alone, or I don't want to be broke. The universe doesn't hear don't. It only hears the vibration of loneliness and lack. Speak what you do want. Say, I am supported. I am surrounded by love. I am aligned with wealth. Let your language reflect your becoming. And above all, believe. Doubt is the static that scrambles the signal. Faith is the amplifier. You don't need to know how it will come, only that it can, that it's already on the way. Trust in the wisdom of the universe to deliver what you've clearly asked for at the perfect moment, in the perfect form. So, set your intentions like sacred spells. Cast them not in desperation but in trust. Be clear, be aligned, be emotional, be consistent. Speak in a language the universe understands. Because the moment your intention becomes pure, the moment your vibration becomes steady, the moment your soul becomes congruent, the universe listens, and it begins to write reality in your name. Chapter 3. The Power of Belief. What you accept, you attract. There is a law etched into the fabric of the universe, silent yet absolute. What you accept as true becomes true for you. Belief is not just a thought you repeat. It is the foundation of your perception, the blueprint of your expectations, the unspoken contract between you and reality. If intention is your spoken request, belief is your silent agreement. You don't just manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe. Many walk through life hoping for change while secretly believing in the permanence of their problems. They speak of abundance but carry the energy of lack. They chase love but believe they are unworthy of being truly seen. And so the universe, ever faithful, ever honest, returns to them what they have accepted at their core. because belief is the seed and reality is its harvest. You might not even be aware of some of your beliefs. They sit beneath the surface, inherited from childhood, culture, religion, trauma, or past failures. They whisper things like, "I always mess things up. People like me never succeed," or "It's too late for me to change." These beliefs don't just shape your mindset, they shape your life, your relationships, your finances, your health, your possibilities. So let's be clear. Your life does not reflect what you say, it reflects what you believe. Every belief you hold is a lens through which you interpret the world, and that lens filters what you allow in and what you push away. The universe is not resisting you, it is mirroring you, and the mirror does not lie. Now, let's go deeper. How do beliefs form, and how can they be changed? Beliefs begin as repeated thoughts, especially when combined with emotion. Say something often enough, especially when it's charged with pain or joy, and your subconscious mind will record it as truth. Once a belief is installed, it becomes your inner operating system, silently influencing every decision, assumption, and expectation. But here's the good news. Beliefs can be rewritten. You are not bound to what you once accepted. You are not trapped by the programs of the past. You are the author, and at any moment, you can pick up the pen and revise the script. Start by noticing. Bring light to the shadows. What are your dominant beliefs around money, around love, around health, around success? When you imagine having what you want, what voice inside says, "But"? That "but" is where your work begins. Because manifestation doesn't respond to the surface-level desire, it responds to the root-level belief. Let's say you want to manifest financial abundance, but deep inside you hold the belief that money is the root of evil, or that having more will make others judge you. That belief will block your flow. Or let's say you long for a loving relationship, but you believe that people always leave, or that you're too damaged to be truly loved. That belief becomes a wall the universe cannot pass through until you dismantle it. To change a belief, you must challenge it. Ask, is this absolutely true? Where did this come from? Who gave me this thought, and do I still choose it? Often, you'll discover that these beliefs were never yours to begin with. They were handed to you by wounded parents, fearful teachers, or limited peers. And you accepted them innocently, without question. But you don't have to keep carrying them. You can release the lie and replace it with truth. And what is truth? It's the belief that you are worthy simply because you exist, that you are capable of change, that abundance is your birthright, that love is not something you must earn, but something you already are. These are not just comforting ideas, they are higher truths rooted in the laws of consciousness. To install new beliefs, repetition is key. Affirmations help, but only when they're felt. Don't just say, "I am worthy." Close your eyes, breathe. Feel what worthiness might feel like. Imagine it soaking into your skin, your bones, your breath. Let it become a felt sense, not just a phrase. The subconscious responds to feeling, not just language. Visualization is another sacred tool. See yourself living the life your new belief supports. Feel the evidence of it in your imagined world. If the belief is, "I am successful," then visualize success in detail: your morning routine, your conversations, your posture, your peace. When your mind sees it often enough, it begins to accept it as familiar. And what is familiar becomes believable. What is believable becomes possible. What is possible becomes inevitable. Gratitude also rewires belief. When you focus on what is working, what is present, what is beautiful even in its smallness, you create a belief that life supports you, that the universe provides, that more is always coming. and this belief magnetizes more of the same. Take action aligned with your new belief. Nothing strengthens belief like experience. If you believe you are a powerful creator, act like it. Make decisions that reflect it. Take steps, even small ones, that align with the reality you want. Each action becomes evidence, each choice a confirmation. You are showing the universe that this belief is not just a thought, it's who you are becoming. Surround yourself with evidence and community. Read books, listen to stories, connect with people who already embody the beliefs you want to hold. Belief is contagious. When you see someone living proof of what you desire, it awakens that same possibility within you. And remember, the universe is not testing your belief, it is reflecting it. Every delay is an invitation to go deeper, to root down, to affirm again what you know to be true. Don't see obstacles as punishment. See them as proving grounds, as invitations to stand in your new story, even when the old one tries to pull you back. You are not powerless. You are not unlucky. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are becoming aligned. And alignment happens when belief becomes coherent, when your heart, your mind, your body, and your energy all begin to speak the same language. So speak a new belief, not just with your words, but with your energy, your attention, and your actions. Because once your belief is strong, once it vibrates with certainty, once it becomes your inner reality, the universe has no choice but to respond. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became it. Chapter 4. Asking with clarity, turning desire into a precise request. There is a sacred moment in every manifestation journey, a moment where thought becomes language, where energy becomes intention, where you face the universe not with confusion but with certainty. It is the moment of asking, not hoping, not wishing, but asking. And the quality of that ask determines the clarity of the reply. If your message is cloudy, the answer will be diluted. But when your request becomes focused, vivid, and felt with conviction, the universe listens like a tuning fork catching its perfect frequency. To ask is not to beg. It is not to plead from a place of lack or desperation. It is not to cry out in the darkness and hope for a light to flicker. True asking is alignment in motion. It is an act of energetic partnership, where you step into your creative power and direct the universal flow with precision. When you ask clearly, you become a participant in the cosmic equation, not a spectator. You write a line into the script of your reality and invite the stage to shift accordingly. The problem is not that people aren't asking, it's that they're asking in confusion. They say, "I want something better," but better is not a direction. They whisper, "I just want to be happy." But happiness is not a fixed coordinate, it's a spectrum, a state that means different things to different hearts. And so, without clarity, the request is sent, but the signal is scattered. The universe mirrors the ambiguity and returns possibilities that feel incomplete or off course. This is why clarity is power. When you ask clearly, you crystallize desire into direction. You remove doubt, eliminate guesswork, and illuminate your own path. Clarity gives form to your dream. It becomes the container through which manifestation can pour in. Without it, you are like an archer with no target, aiming energy but landing nowhere. So how do you ask the universe with clarity? Begin by refining your desire. What do you want, truly? Not what you think you should want, not what others want for you, but what your soul wants to experience, to become, to live through. Strip the desire of societal filters and emotional noise. If you could have one thing, one experience, one transformation that felt undeniably aligned, what would it be? Then, define it. The clearer the picture, the stronger the signal. Don't just say, I want a new job. Say, I am working in a vibrant, creative environment where I feel valued, where I contribute meaningfully, and where I am financially supported with ease. Don't say, I want love. Say, I am in a relationship filled with mutual respect, shared purpose, emotional safety, and deep joy. Turn the abstract into the tangible. Name it, describe it, feel it. Because the universe doesn't speak through uncertainty, it responds to specificity. Now, once you've defined it, visualize it, not as something you're hoping for, but as something you are already experiencing. Close your eyes and see yourself inside the reality you've requested. What does it look like? What sounds are there? What emotions rise in your body? What are you doing? Who is with you? Let the image become immersive, multisensory, detailed. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. You are rehearsing the vibration of fulfillment, and that vibration sends a message to the quantum field. This is who I am now, not someday, not eventually. Now, from this place of inner embodiment, you are ready to speak, to affirm, to ask, not timidly, not apologetically, but with conviction, with clarity, with gratitude in your voice, as if you're confirming what you already know is yours. Say, I am ready to receive. I now align with, I allow this into my life because I know I am worthy. I trust the universe to bring me this or something even better. When you phrase your request with this kind of clarity, you are not just speaking to the universe, you are speaking with it. You are conversing. You are collaborating. You are declaring what you will hold space for, what you are willing to believe in, and what you will not settle beneath. Remember, clarity does not mean control. You are not dictating how the universe delivers. That is not your job. Your job is the what and the why. The universe handles the how, and often its route is far more creative, surprising, and synchronistic than anything your rational mind could have scripted. When you release control of the delivery while holding clarity of the desire, you create the perfect recipe for miraculous unfolding. Some ask, but what if I don't know exactly what I want? Then ask for clarity itself. Say, Universe, show me what aligns, reveal what is true for me, lead me to what I didn't even know I needed. Even that is a clear request. You are opening a door instead of floating in confusion. You are declaring readiness instead of waiting passively. And in that state of willingness, the signs begin to arrive. The clearer your request, the more obvious the guidance. So watch what happens after you ask. Pay attention to synchronicities. Pay attention to sudden ideas, dreams, conversations, numbers, and feelings. The universe responds, but it often does so subtly. With nudges, not shouts. With whispers, not commands. Your job is not just to ask clearly, but to listen actively. Here's a simple ritual to practice asking with clarity. Sit in stillness, breathe deeply, drop into your body, feel your center. Ask yourself, what am I ready to receive? What am I willing to believe is possible for me now? Write it down, describe it vividly. Don't worry about the form, just write from the truth. Speak it aloud, feel the vibration of your words. Notice how your body reacts. If there's resistance, adjust until it feels right. Let go of the outcome. Release it with trust. You've done your part. The rest is sacred timing. Avoid the common trap of repeating your request in a state of fear. Asking over and over from a place of, it hasn't happened yet, creates friction. It reinforces lack. Instead, ask once with clarity, and revisit that desire only to reaffirm, not to question. Trust that the message was received. Trust that the universe is working even when you cannot see it. Because it is. You are not being ignored. you are being aligned. So, refine your ask, sharpen your clarity, speak your truth without hesitation, and then step back, watch, listen, follow the nudges. For the moment, your request becomes energetically coherent. The universe answers, not with words, but with signs, with movement, with aligned encounters, with quiet confirmations. And when you learn to ask with precision, the answers no longer feel distant. They feel divine. Chapter 5. Trusting the process. Patience, timing, and letting go. There is a quiet law that governs all creation, one that transcends force, rush, or control. It is the law of divine timing, the sacred rhythm that underlies every unfolding, the invisible choreography behind your desires. And it whispers this: everything you ask for is heard, but it will arrive when your energy, your readiness, and your path are aligned. Not a moment sooner, not a moment too late. And so, the sacred art of manifestation is incomplete without trust. Trust is the container that holds your desire when doubt comes knocking. Trust is the soil that nourishes the seed you've planted. And trust is what allows you to rest even when the evidence hasn't arrived yet. Most people struggle not because their desire is too big or their belief too weak, but because they do not know how to wait well. They become anxious, impatient, obsessed with signs and timelines. They constantly check for proof, measuring the growth of an invisible sprout that hasn't broken the surface yet. And in doing so, they send a very different signal to the universe. Not of trust, but of fear. Not of alignment, but of desperation. Let's reframe what waiting really means in the world of energy. Waiting is not about doing nothing. It is not passive stagnation. It is an active state of energetic receptivity. It is the choice to stay aligned with your desire even when the outer world has not caught up to your inner certainty. It is holding your vibration with faith, not frantically checking whether it's working. Remember, the universe works behind the curtain of time. Just because you don't see the progress doesn't mean it's not unfolding. The manifestations you seek are often being prepared in layers. Threads weaving together beyond your vision, people being moved into place, opportunities being shaped, your energy being matured. Some manifestations take time because you are still becoming the version of yourself who can fully receive and sustain what you've asked for. Would you plant a seed in the ground and dig it up every day to check its roots? Of course not. You would trust that it is growing, that the soil is doing its quiet magic, that water, sunlight, and time will do their work. And so it is with your desires. After you've asked, after you've aligned, you must let go, not of the desire itself, but of the timing, of the need to control. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means loosening your grip on how and when it will come. It means no longer needing to micromanage the outcome, and instead choosing to dwell in a state of knowing, of inner peace, of trust. You still show up, you still act in alignment, but you stop forcing. Manifestation is not about controlling life, it's about dancing with it. This dance, however, requires rhythm, and the rhythm of the universe is rarely rushed. Think of the moon. It waxes and wanes, yet never worries. Think of the tides. They rise and fall, yet never resist. The tree does not panic in winter when its branches are bare. It trusts spring will return. And so must you. One of the greatest shifts you can make in your manifestation journey is to trust that your delay is not a denial. It is a preparation. What if the wait is a blessing? What if the timing you want would have arrived too soon? What if the detour is refining your alignment, teaching you patience, developing your character, or rerouting you towards something better than you imagined? Because sometimes the universe says, not yet, only to later say, better. There are stories scattered throughout life, stories of people who thought they missed their chance, only to later discover a door that was far more aligned. The job that didn't work out, making space for their true calling. The relationship that ended, making room for deep soul love. The project that failed, birthing the idea that would change everything. The universe is not trying to frustrate you, it is trying to fine-tune you. But you must trust its timing. So, how do we cultivate this trust? It begins with presence. When your mind drifts into the future, into when, how, and if, gently bring it back to now. The present moment is where peace lives. When you are fully in the now, you are not anxious about the absence of your manifestation. You are grounded in the frequency that allows it to arrive. Practice daily gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful trust amplifier. It reminds your energy that you are already blessed, that you are already provided for, that the universe has already shown up for you, time and time again. When you dwell in gratitude, you shift your vibration from, "Why hasn't it come yet?" to, "I trust it's on its way." That shift alone accelerates the arrival. Repeat affirmations that reinforce your trust. I trust the timing of my life. I know the universe is always working for me. My desires are already on their way. What is meant for me cannot miss me. Let these words become anchors when the waves of doubt rise. Another powerful practice is mindfulness through inspired action. While you are trusting the process, remain open to nudges, to ideas, to opportunities. Trust does not mean you sit still forever. It means you move in flow, not out of fear, but out of inspired alignment. Maybe it's a sudden urge to reach out to someone. Maybe it's an idea that wakes you in the middle of the night. Maybe it's a gentle pull toward a new path. Trusting means responding to these cues, knowing they are part of the unfolding. And let's not forget, in this waiting, you are being shaped. Trust transforms you. It stretches your capacity for faith. It refines your resilience. It humbles your ego. And it expands your ability to receive. You are not just manifesting things, you are becoming someone. Someone who no longer begs but believes, who no longer panics but partners with the universe. When you feel impatience, don't judge it. Feel it. Let it rise. Let it soften. And then return to trust. Return to knowing. Return to presence. The truth is, manifestation is less about getting something and more about becoming someone who trusts even before it appears. That trust creates magnetic energy, and the universe loves to respond to trust. So here is your invitation now. Let go of your timeline. Release your grip on the outcome. Choose the vibration of peace. Anchor yourself in faith. Because the moment you trust the process, you tell the universe, "I am ready. I believe, I receive." And in that sacred moment, the waiting becomes graceful, the timing becomes perfect, and the unfolding inevitable. Chapter 6. Receiving the Signs. How the universe answers your vibration. The universe is always speaking, but it rarely uses the language of words. It responds instead through symbols, synchronicities, sensations, patterns, nudges, and moments that shimmer just slightly out of the ordinary. You felt it before. That sudden coincidence that made you pause. That repeated number on the clock. That feather in your path. That song that played exactly when you needed its message. These are not accidents. These are answers. To live in harmony with the universe is to become fluent in this sacred language. It is to move beyond the question of whether the universe hears you, because it always does, and begin asking instead, am I paying attention to how it replies? Every thought, every emotion, every intention you send out is a signal. The universe responds not by saying yes or no, but by mirroring your frequency. It reflects your inner world through outer signs. You feel it in your body, you see it in your day, you hear it in passing conversations. When your vibration is clear and steady, the signs become unmistakable. But when your energy is scattered, anxious, or filled with doubt, the signals often get lost in the static. So, how do you begin tuning into the answers the universe is already giving you? First, cultivate awareness. The signs are already there, but if you're racing through your day, lost in thought, consumed by worry, or endlessly distracted, they'll pass by unnoticed. The universe doesn't scream, it whispers, it nudges, it weaves meaning into ordinary moments. A stranger's kind words, a recurring dream, a repeated animal symbol. The same phrase heard 3 times in one day from 3 different sources. These are not random, they are resonant. They are the energetic breadcrumbs guiding you home. Awareness begins with slowing down. It begins with presence. You don't have to meditate on a mountaintop or isolate yourself to connect. Simply start by paying attention. Notice what catches your eye. What phrases give you goosebumps? What images feel charged with meaning? What events seem too perfectly timed to be mere coincidence? This is where signs begin to emerge. One of the most common ways the universe communicates is through repeating numbers. Known often as angel numbers, these sequences 111, 222, 333, 444, 555 appear when your vibration is shifting, when your thoughts are aligning, or when your energy needs confirmation or redirection. Seeing 111, you're aligning with your thoughts. Be intentional. Seeing 444, you're surrounded by protection and support. The meanings aren't fixed. They're invitations to pause and feel into what you were just thinking or experiencing. It's not just the number, it's the moment around it that holds the message. The universe also speaks through dreams. When your conscious mind is asleep, your subconscious becomes more open, more receptive. Messages, symbols, and intuitive downloads flow freely in this dreamscape. Pay attention to recurring images, people, or emotions in your dreams. Keep a dream journal beside your bed. Write what you remember upon waking, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Over time, patterns will form and meanings will reveal themselves. The universe often uses dreams to bypass your resistance and speak directly to your inner knowing. Animals also appear as messengers, not just in nature but in books, conversations, media, even logos. When an animal shows up repeatedly, whether in waking life or symbols, it may be carrying a message. A butterfly may represent transformation, a hawk, vision, a cat, intuition. These meanings are both collective and personal. Ask yourself, what does this symbol mean to me? The answers are often layered, intimate, and deeply relevant to your current path. Another form of sign is what many call synchronicity, those perfectly timed events that align with your inner world. You think of someone, and they call. You speak of a solution, and the next day it arrives. You journal a question, and a stranger offers the exact advice you needed without knowing anything about your life. These are not accidents. These are cosmic confirmations. The more you acknowledge synchronicities as guidance, the more frequently they occur. But to truly receive signs, you must do more than notice them. You must trust them. Many people receive clear signs, only to dismiss them as coincidence. They override their gut feeling. They rationalize away the repetition. They require louder and louder proof. But the universe honors subtlety. It doesn't need to shout when a whisper will do. The more you trust the soft nudge, the more you'll be guided by grace instead of force. This trust requires you to reclaim your intuition, your deepest inner compass. The universe often speaks through your body before it speaks through the world. That tightening in your chest, that flutter in your stomach, that spark of peace or anxiety, these are messages. Your body is an antenna. When a choice feels expansive, that's often a yes. When it feels constricted, heavy, or draining, that's often a no. The more you honor your intuition, the more precise the signs will become. You might be asking, but what if I misinterpret the signs? That's okay. Interpretation is a practice, not a perfect art. It evolves with you. What matters most is not having the perfect definition. It's what the sign means to you. The feather you find might symbolize protection, or it may remind you of a loved one who passed. Or it might simply be a reminder to lighten your heart. You are the interpreter of your life's symphony. To deepen your practice of receiving signs, try this ritual. Begin each morning with a simple question. Universe, show me what I need to see today. Go through your day with awareness. Observe with curiosity. What stands out? Carry a signs journal. Write down any repeated numbers, unexpected encounters, or moments that feel significant. Review the day before bed. Reflect. Ask, what message might this hold? Express gratitude. Whether or not you understand the signs yet, thank the universe for speaking. This keeps the dialogue open. When you acknowledge the signs, you affirm to the universe that you're listening. You step out of passivity and into participation. And in that co-creation, the signs become stronger, the guidance more undeniable. But remember, sometimes the sign is silence. Sometimes the guidance is to wait, to rest, to trust. Don't mistake stillness for absence. In the quiet, the most sacred alignments are often taking place. When the signs slow down, it's usually because the next step requires inner stillness, not external movement. In those seasons, your job is to stay present, to stay faithful, to trust that the silence is part of the song. So open your senses, open your heart, open your eyes not just to what's visible, but to what vibrates beneath the visible. The universe is answering you. In feathers and numbers, in dreams and déjà vu, in songs and sentences that pierce straight through your doubt. You only need to listen. You only need to believe. And when you do, you will find that the universe was never silent. It was always singing your name. Chapter 7. Synchronicities. The perfect timing of a speaking universe. There are no coincidences in a conscious universe. There is only alignment, only resonance, only the perfect unfolding of energies that mirror back to you what you are ready to see, feel, receive, or become. And this unfolding, when witnessed with awakened eyes, takes on a form that feels magical, mysterious, and precise. This form is called synchronicity. A synchronicity is not just a lucky accident. It is a cosmic wink, a message wrapped in timing so perfect it bypasses logic and speaks straight to your soul. It's the book that falls from a shelf and contains the sentence you needed. It's the song that starts playing just as you're about to give up. It's the stranger who answers the question you wrote in your journal this morning without even knowing who you are. Synchronicities are how the universe gets your attention. They are how it says, "You are on the path. Keep going. I'm right here." To understand synchronicity is to understand that time itself is elastic, that moments do not happen randomly, but rhythmically. The universe does not stumble, it orchestrates. And when your energy becomes coherent, when your intention, belief, and vibration line up, life begins to respond with incredible precision. Events start aligning. People appear, obstacles dissolve, and the invisible becomes visible through a choreography you could never have planned. The psychologist Carl Jung first named this phenomenon synchronicity, describing it as a meaningful coincidence with no direct causal link, but which carries deep personal significance. But long before Jung, mystics and sages knew this truth. When you align internally, the external world reflects it in extraordinary ways. Synchronicities are not weird. They are normal, natural, and ever-present in a universe that is alive with intelligence. But why do they happen? And what do they mean? Synchronicities occur when your internal world matches a thread of the greater pattern. You think a thought, and that thought appears as an external symbol. You feel a need, and life responds with an answer. The veil between the inner and outer dissolves and the mirror becomes clear. These moments do not come by force. You cannot demand them, but you can invite them, and that invitation begins with alignment. When your frequency matches the frequency of what you are seeking, reality responds in kind. You walk into the energy field of your desire, and in that field, synchronicity becomes the language. The universe begins to converse with you through perfectly timed events that your soul instantly recognizes as significant. But these events are only meaningful when you notice them. Most people miss the magic not because it isn't there, but because they're too distracted, skeptical, or disconnected to see it. Synchronicities don't yell. They don't ask for your attention. They wait for it. So the more tuned in you become, present, intuitive, receptive, the more synchronicities will seem to surround you. Here's what synchronicity might look like in real life. You've been doubting your career direction. You sit quietly and think, I just want a sign that I'm on the right path. Hours later, a podcast randomly autoplays on your phone. The speaker talks about purpose, clarity, and mentions a specific industry, your industry. Not a general message, but a direct reflection of your thoughts. That's not coincidence. That's synchronicity. Or perhaps you've been dreaming of writing a book but feel afraid. You walk past a coffee shop and see a flyer for a local writers group. You shrug it off, but then later that day, a friend mentions she's joining a creative workshop. Again, same theme. Within a week, someone gifts you a journal. The message is clear. Life is whispering, it's time. The more you honor these moments, the more they multiply. Synchronicity is magnetic in nature. Your acknowledgement strengthens the signal. Each time you say thank you to the universe for the moment that made you pause, the next one arrives sooner and clearer. To work with synchronicity is to become a partner in the dance of life. You are no longer pushing and striving blindly. You are listening, watching, responding. You are in co-creation, and life becomes lighter, more fluid, more miraculous. It's also important to know that synchronicities are not just signs of confirmation. They can also be course corrections. Not every synchronicity points to a yes. Some nudge you away from a path that no longer serves. Some offer a gentle but firm redirection. Maybe you're pursuing something out of ego, and you keep encountering obstacles. Then one day, a stranger mentions the exact issue you've been ignoring. That's not random, that's guidance. Pay attention not just to what flows, but to what repeats. If a message keeps arriving from multiple sources, listen. So how do you create a fertile space for synchronicity? You start by becoming intentional. Set the tone in the morning. Universe, I'm open. Show me what I need to see today. Speak to me through life. I will listen. You don't need to be rigid or obsessive. Just be available. Just declare your openness. Then, go about your day with softened senses. Let your attention rest on what feels different. Don't chase the signs. Allow them. You also strengthen your connection through practices that clear the noise. Meditation, journaling, time in nature. These help quiet the mind so that the deeper signals can rise. When your energy is scattered, it's harder to hear the subtle music of synchronicity. But in stillness, you begin to catch the melody. Keep a synchronicity journal. Document the strange alignments, the perfect timing, the repeating themes. When you write them down, you train your brain to recognize the pattern. Over time, you'll be astonished at how clearly life has been speaking to you all along. And lastly, honor what you receive. Take action when a synchronicity invites you forward. Don't just be a passive observer of miracles. Be an engaged participant. If the universe opens a door, walk through it. If it whispers an answer, trust it. Synchronicities are not decorations, they are directions. There will be days when nothing remarkable seems to happen. That's okay. Don't panic. Don't assume the connection is lost. Trust that the web is still weaving. Trust that your awareness alone is an act of co-creation. Even your desire to understand the signs is itself a sign that you are awakening. The truth is, the universe is always synchronizing reality to match your inner state, whether you notice it or not, whether you believe it or not. Whether you call it luck, fate, or coincidence, it is all energy in motion. So listen closely. Notice the patterns. Trust the repetition. Follow the rhythm. And when the signs align so perfectly you can't explain it, smile. Because in that moment, you are not imagining the magic. You are witnessing it. Chapter 8. People as Messengers. How the universe speaks through others. The universe doesn't only whisper through numbers, dreams, or symbols. It often speaks through people. Sometimes, its message wears a face, speaks with a voice, and sits across from you in the form of a friend, a stranger, or even someone you might not particularly like. You may not always realize it in the moment, but the universe is infinitely creative in delivering its messages, and one of its most profound instruments is human interaction. We are mirrors to one another. Every conversation, every encounter, every relationship holds the potential to reflect something back to us, something we need to see, heal, claim, or release. Sometimes it comes softly, a compliment from a stranger that affirms what you've been struggling to believe about yourself. Other times, it's sharp, a conflict that triggers an old wound, forcing you to confront what you've avoided. Whether comforting or confronting, the people in your life often act as sacred messengers, conduits for the divine voice, carriers of answers disguised as dialogue. Think back. Have you ever been thinking deeply about a question, something lingering in your heart, and then, in a casual conversation, someone says the exact phrase you needed to hear? Have you ever met someone briefly, and their story mirrored your own situation so perfectly, it felt like divine orchestration? These are not accidents. These are transmissions. They are the universe's way of responding to you through the voice of another. When you are energetically open, the universe can speak through anyone. It might be your child, innocently voicing what your higher self has been trying to say. It might be a barista making an offhand comment that strikes you with clarity. It might be your partner repeating something you've heard a dozen times, but for some reason, this time, it clicks differently. The messenger may not know the power of what they said, but you will feel it. You will know. Something inside will stir and say, "That was meant for me." And just as people can be divine mirrors, they can also be divine catalysts. There are those who come into your life not to comfort you, but to awaken you, to disrupt you, to challenge you in a way that reveals a hidden pattern or unlocks a dormant part of yourself. They may not be gentle, they may not stay, but they shift something in you. And in that shift, a message is delivered, a lesson is learned, a piece of the puzzle falls into place. The key is not to judge the messenger, but to receive the message. Sometimes, the people who agitate you the most are reflecting the very thing you refuse to see within yourself. Their criticism mirrors your own self-judgment. Their behavior mirrors your repressed tendencies. Or their success mirrors your untapped potential. These reflections are uncomfortable, but they are sacred. The universe is using others to reveal to you what you are ready to heal or embody. Ask yourself, what does this interaction show me about myself? What am I learning about my boundaries, my beliefs, my wounds, or my growth edges through this person? When you begin to view every encounter as a potential message from the universe, life becomes rich with meaning. The cashier's smile becomes a blessing. The advice from a friend becomes divine timing. The hard conversation becomes a breakthrough. The casual remark becomes an echo of something your soul has been whispering for months. Of course, not every word spoken to you is a sacred transmission. Discernment is essential. Just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean it's truth. But if a message is for you, you'll know. You'll feel it resonate, not in your ego, but in your spirit. It may arrive with a chill up your spine, or a tear in your eye, or a deep inner stillness. That's how you know the universe is speaking. Not to control you, but to guide you. To better receive these messages, practice deep presence in your interactions. Listen not only to the words being said, but to the energy behind them. Be curious, not reactive. Ask, why did this person say this to me in this moment? What was I just thinking or feeling before they spoke? Remain open, but grounded. The messenger may appear in unexpected form. A difficult boss, a passing stranger, an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Don't dismiss the package based on your judgment of the person. Sometimes the greatest wisdom comes from those who are unaware they are delivering it. And sometimes the messenger is you. You may be the one delivering the very message someone else needs. A kind word, an intuitive insight, a story from your past that touches someone's present. The universe may use your voice to affirm another soul's journey. Don't underestimate your power to be the answer to someone's silent question. You are not just a receiver of divine messages. You are a vessel through which they flow. To cultivate this divine communication, treat every interaction as sacred. Slow down, make eye contact, listen with the ears beneath your ears. Speak with the heart behind your voice. Ask the universe daily, let me hear what needs to be heard, let me say what needs to be said. Here's a practice to deepen your awareness of the universe speaking through others. Each morning say, Universe, if someone has a message for me today, let me recognize it. Throughout your day, observe who enters your space. What do they reflect? What are they mirroring? Pay attention to repeated themes. If 3 different people bring up the same topic, that's not random. That's a message. Keep a messenger journal. Record the words, phrases, or conversations that impacted you. Over time, a divine thread will emerge. Before sleep, reflect. Who spoke to me today in a way that moved me? What was the message beneath their words? As you begin to live this way, with reverence for the wisdom others carry, you'll realize you are never alone. The universe is speaking through every encounter, every interaction, every shared glance and open heart. And the more you listen, the more life becomes a dialogue, a sacred unfolding conversation. So open your ears, not just to sound, but to soul. Open your heart not just to people, but to purpose. Open your mind not just to words, but to wonder. Because the universe will speak through the lips of a stranger, through the wisdom of a friend, through the silence of an enemy, through the laughter of a child, through the echo of your own voice. You just have to listen. Chapter 9. Intuition, Hearing the Universe Within. The most sacred voice the universe uses to speak to you is the one that arises from within. Not the voice of fear, not the voice of logic, not the one inherited from parents, teachers, or culture, but the ancient, steady, unshakable whisper that lives beneath it all. That knowing, that instinct, that deep pull in your chest or your belly, that quiet sense that says, go here, not there. Wait, now, speak, be still. This is your intuition, and it is the language of your soul, tuned to the frequency of the divine. You don't need to chase signs in the sky when the universe has placed a compass within your own being. Your intuition is your internal translator of universal wisdom. It's how the infinite speaks directly to you, through feeling, through energy, through resonance. When you learn to trust this inner voice, you no longer have to seek constant confirmation outside yourself. You become the confirmation. You walk with the deep-rooted assurance that you are where you're meant to be, doing what you're meant to do, even if no one else understands it yet. But in a noisy world, intuition can be hard to hear. We are trained to doubt our inner knowing, conditioned to override it with logic, with rules, with the need for approval or safety. We second-guess ourselves. We dismiss that gut feeling. We say, it's just my imagination, or I'm probably overthinking it. But that still, small voice is not your imagination. It is your inner alignment with the wisdom of the universe. And when you ignore it, you often find yourself lost, misaligned, off track. So how do you begin to hear your intuition again? You start by remembering that it was always there, even in childhood, before the world taught you to mistrust it. Think back. Haven't you always known, deep down, when something was right or wrong for you? Haven't you felt the pull toward certain people, ideas, places, even when you couldn't explain why? That's not coincidence. That's not emotion. That's the universe speaking through your intuitive body, through energy. The first step to reconnecting with intuition is stillness. Intuition doesn't scream. It doesn't compete for attention. It waits. It watches. It speaks in the quiet spaces between your thoughts. When your mind is racing, when your phone never stops ringing, when you fill every silence with distraction, your intuition has no room to rise. So begin each day with a moment of inward listening. Even 5 minutes of silence, eyes closed, breath steady, can begin to reopen the inner channel. Ask yourself, what do I need to know today? Then listen, not for words, but for feelings. Sensations, images, a pull, a phrase, a sense of direction. Intuition often speaks through the body. You'll feel a constriction in your chest when something is off, or a lightness in your heart when something is right. You'll feel energized by certain people and drained by others. You'll sense yes and no long before you rationally understand why. Your nervous system is intelligent. Your body is a tuning fork. When you are in tune, everything flows. When you ignore the signals, you often pay the price in frustration, stagnation, or confusion. That's why it's so important to trust the feeling of your intuition, even when you can't justify it with facts. There will be times when your intuition will tell you to walk away, even though everything looks good on paper. There will be times it will nudge you to leap, even when you don't have a safety net. And those will be the most transformative choices of your life, not because they made sense, but because they were aligned. But trusting your intuition takes practice. It takes rewiring. It takes choosing to believe that you are already connected to something higher. It takes releasing the need to always explain yourself. Intuition doesn't always come with a reason. It comes with a resonance, a feeling of truth that you can't quite articulate but can no longer ignore. Start small. Begin with little choices. Feel into what you want to eat, who you want to call, where you want to go. Notice how your body reacts when you follow those nudges versus when you ignore them. Over time, as you build this relationship, your intuition will grow louder, clearer, more confident, and so will you. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen your intuition is through journaling, but not the kind where you try to make sense of everything. Instead, use your journal as a space to listen. Begin each page with a question. What does my intuition want me to know? Then write freely. Let the words flow without editing, without judgment. You'll be amazed at what comes through, at the wisdom your own soul has been holding, waiting for you to ask. Another way to amplify your intuition is to notice how it differs from fear. Many people confuse the two. Fear is loud, urgent, pushy. Intuition is calm, clear, steady. Fear contracts you. Intuition expands you. Fear says, don't do it, you might fail. Intuition says, this isn't the way. Learn the difference by how it feels in your body. Over time, you will develop an intimate sense of which voice is speaking. And remember, intuition is not limited to life's big decisions. It's present in every moment, in every breath. It will guide you toward people who nourish you, away from environments that drain you. It will help you know when to speak and when to listen, when to stay and when to walk away. It is not a one-time miracle. It is a daily compass. When you align with your intuition, the universe no longer has to shout through chaos to get your attention. The signs become gentle. The flow becomes easy. You become a clear channel. You stop asking for so many external signs because you already feel the answer inside. You don't just trust the universe, you trust your own access to it. Here's a simple daily practice to awaken your intuition. Find a quiet place. Sit with your spine straight, your eyes closed. Place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. Breathe deeply. Ask, what is true for me right now? Don't seek an answer. Feel for it. Notice the first image, word, feeling, or sensation. Don't overthink it. Trust that response, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Your intuition speaks in layers. Its meanings often unfold over time. Your intuition is a divine faculty, a sacred sense, a bridge between your finite self and infinite intelligence. And the more you trust it, the more you will walk in grace. You'll make fewer decisions from fear. You'll waste less time second-guessing. You'll know what to do, not because someone told you, but because the answer is already encoded in your being. So return to your inner compass. Listen deeply. Act boldly. Trust fully. Because when you learn to hear the universe within, you stop chasing signs and start becoming the signal. Chapter 10. Dreams, the nighttime language of the universe. When the conscious mind rests, when the distractions of daylight dissolve into darkness, and the world grows quiet, the soul begins to speak. Not in words, not in sentences, but in symbols and stories, visions and emotions that drift in from the edge of the unseen. Dreams are not merely mental noise or random fragments of memory. They are one of the most ancient and profound languages of the universe. In sleep, the veil thins. You are no longer confined by the logic of the waking world. You enter a realm where time bends, where truth can arrive wrapped in metaphor, where your soul and the cosmos converse in the language of pure symbolism. The universe often saves its deepest messages for your dreams, not because it hides them, but because your waking mind is often too busy, too skeptical, too resistant to truly hear. In dreams, you are softened, surrendered, and most receptive. You are not guarded. You are open. Throughout history, prophets, poets, healers, and mystics have honored dreams as sacred. The ancient Egyptians recorded their dreams as messages from the gods. Indigenous tribes spoke of dream time as a parallel reality. Even modern science, with all its measurement and skepticism, now acknowledges that dreams help process emotion, intuition, and memory far beyond what logic alone can decipher. But you don't need a cultural tradition to validate your dreaming. You only need to listen, because the universe is still speaking to you each night, weaving guidance into the very fabric of your subconscious. The question is, are you willing to receive it? Dreams often reflect what's hidden in your waking life. The longings you've buried, the fears you've silenced, the questions you haven't dared to ask. But they also carry flashes of the future, clues from your higher self, and direct responses from the universe to your intentions and manifestations. Have you ever had a dream that lingered like perfume, clinging to your thoughts all day long? A dream that felt more real than reality? A message that haunted you with its precision or beauty? That's no accident. That's the divine talking. Sometimes dreams are symbolic. A house might represent your inner self. A storm might represent inner chaos. A bird might symbolize freedom or a message from spirit. The images are not always literal. They are designed to bypass your intellect and speak directly to your intuition. And the best interpreter of your dreams is not a dictionary or a dream app. It is you. Your inner knowing, your personal associations, your emotional resonance. The same image may mean something different to two different people. A lion to one person might symbolize courage. To another, it might represent a dominating presence in their life. What matters most is how it made you feel. What was your emotional response to the symbol? What did it stir in you? The more you tune in, the more you realize that your dreams are not random. They are orchestrated, not by chance, but by consciousness. They carry clues, warnings, encouragement, course corrections, and sometimes sacred instructions for your next step. Some dreams are recurring, the same hallway, the same fall, the same lost phone or missed flight. These are messages that haven't yet been integrated. Repetition in dreams is like the universe saying, "You still haven't heard me. Please listen again." These are not punishments, they are reminders. They invite your attention to the area of life that requires healing or action. Then there are lucid dreams, moments when you become aware that you are dreaming and can consciously participate. These dreams are powerful portals for manifestation, healing, and direct dialogue with your higher self. When you become lucid in a dream, ask a question, explore, affirm your desires. The energy of the dream state is closer to the quantum field than the waking mind can often access. It is pure potential. And then there are visitation dreams. Dreams where someone who has passed comes to speak with you, or where a guide, angel, or archetype appears. These dreams are often vivid, emotionally charged, and carry a deep sense of peace or clarity. They are not just dreams, they are sacred encounters. Honor them. To begin receiving more guidance from your dreams, you must first respect them. Create space in your life to welcome the dream realm as sacred. Start by keeping a dream journal by your bed. The moment you wake, before you check your phone or move too much, write down everything you remember. Images, emotions, fragments of conversation, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it's only a feeling, write it. The more you pay attention, the more you will remember. The more you remember, the more detailed and meaningful your dreams will become. This is a relationship. The universe is always speaking. But like any conversation, the more present and appreciative you are, the deeper it becomes. Before bed, set an intention. This is called dream incubation. You might say, "Universe, speak to me tonight in ways I will understand. I ask for guidance on insert your question here." I am open to receiving divine messages in my dreams. Then trust. Don't force it. Don't expect instant clarity. Sometimes the answer will come in one night. Sometimes over a series of dreams. Sometimes through the emotion the dream evokes rather than its content. Dreams are sacred because they remove the filter. They reveal what you already know but have forgotten. They remind you of your power. They deliver divine insight wrapped in archetypes and emotion. And when you wake and write them down, you bridge the world of spirit and form. You bring the unseen into the seen. Here is a dream ritual to support your connection to the universe through the night. Before sleep, dim the lights and journal your current intentions or questions. Speak aloud a dream request. I invite divine insight through my dreams tonight. Place a crystal or calming object, like amethyst or moonstone, beside your bed as a signal of sacred space. Upon waking, write whatever you remember, even one image, even a mood. Reflect. What part of this connects with what I'm currently going through? What message might this hold? Over time, this practice will awaken your dream world. You'll begin to notice how aligned your dreams are with your waking desires, how the universe is guiding you, even while you sleep. And here's the deeper truth. Your dreams are not separate from reality. They are an extension of it. Another layer of the same consciousness that creates your waking life. What you experience in the dream realm has the power to influence what you manifest. So dream boldly, dream with intention, dream knowing that you are receiving direct communication from Source. Because the night is not silent. The night is sacred. And while the world slumbers, the universe whispers, I am still here. I am still speaking, even now. Chapter 11. Obstacles. The universe's tough love. Sometimes, the universe speaks not through gentle signs or pleasant synchronicities, but through challenge, through delay, through discomfort, through the brick walls you didn't expect to hit. These moments often feel like punishment, like rejection, like evidence that you are off path or somehow unworthy of what you've asked for. But what if the obstacle is not working against you, but for you? What if it is not a denial, but a redirection? What if it is the universe's most powerful, most tender way of shaping you into who you must become to hold what you've asked for? You see, the language of the universe is not always soft. At times it is fierce. At times, it removes what no longer serves before delivering what will. At times, it tests the foundation before building the vision. Obstacles are not random interruptions, they are mirrors, teachers. They reveal what still needs to be healed, what still needs to be strengthened, what still needs to be released. When something doesn't go as planned, when doors close, when people leave, when results don't arrive on your timeline, it's tempting to feel abandoned, to wonder if the signs lied, to question whether the vision was ever meant for you. But this is the exact moment the universe leans in and says, trust me more, not less. Pain has a peculiar way of sharpening our clarity. It strips away the fluff, the illusion, the ego's agenda. What remains is the truth of your intention, the essence beneath the surface. Are you chasing this dream for approval or for purpose? Are you forcing a timeline because of fear or trusting the divine flow? Obstacles press you to answer those questions, not with words, but with presence, with surrender, with resilience. And yet, most people misread obstacles. They interpret difficulty as a stop sign, when it may actually be a detour towards something better. They interpret a delay as a rejection, when it may be preparation. You wouldn't scold the soil for needing time to nourish the seed. Why scold life for requiring time to align the pieces of your manifestation? The truth is this: Every great transformation is preceded by a period of friction. The butterfly struggles in the cocoon before it emerges with wings. The seed breaks open in darkness before it becomes the oak. And you, your soul, your growth, your calling, will also meet resistance. Not because you are failing, but because you are becoming. The universe is not trying to block you. It is trying to build you. And here is the mystery of tough love. The greatest gifts often arrive wrapped in challenge. The setback that teaches you patience, the heartbreak that awakens self-love, the failure that redirects you to your purpose. These aren't just obstacles, they are sacred thresholds. They initiate you into the next version of yourself. If you meet them with fear, you shrink. But if you meet them with awareness, you expand. So what do you do when you face an obstacle that shakes your certainty? First, you pause, breathe, observe. Before you react, ask, what is this moment trying to teach me? What is the invitation here? Often, the obstacle reveals a misalignment. You may be clinging to something that's no longer aligned with your highest good. Or perhaps your energy is split. Part of you believes, but another part still doubts. The challenge is the universe's way of illuminating the gap, not to shame you, but to integrate you, to bring your vibration into wholeness. Next, feel what arises. Don't bypass the disappointment or fear. Let it move through you, not rule you. When you suppress your emotions, you mute the message. Emotions are energy in motion, and they carry information. Anger might be showing you where you need stronger boundaries. Sadness might be revealing what you've outgrown. Anxiety might be asking you to slow down and listen more deeply. Listen, honor, and let go of the need to control the process. Then once your emotions have moved, return to trust. Not blind faith, but embodied faith. The kind that says, even though I don't understand, I believe life is for me. I believe this challenge carries meaning. I choose to stay aligned. Remember, doubt is natural, but your commitment must be stronger than your confusion. Your faith must be larger than your fear. You may not see the whole picture yet, but the universe does. It sees where this path leads, and when you surrender the need to know how or when, you allow something greater to unfold. Obstacles also ask something powerful of you: resilience. Not the kind that grits its teeth and pushes forward at all costs, but the kind that bends without breaking, that adapts, that learns, that keeps showing up with presence and purpose, even in the absence of results. Resilience is how you prove to the universe and to yourself that you are ready, that you are anchored. You can develop this resilience by grounding yourself in your why. Why did you choose this path? Why does this dream matter to you? When you reconnect to that deeper reason, your motivation becomes internal, not circumstantial. You no longer need external proof to feel the truth of your desire. You carry the flame within. Also know this: you are allowed to rest, to grieve, to recalibrate. Obstacles do not mean you must push harder. Often they mean you need to realign, to nourish your energy, to return to stillness. Healing is not linear. Manifestation is not mechanical. It is deeply alive. And so are you. To work with obstacles, begin to view them as sacred conversations. Ask, what is this teaching me about my expectations? Where am I holding on too tightly? What parts of me are ready to evolve through this? Then act accordingly. Adjust your path, refine your vibration, strengthen your belief, not as punishment, but as evolution. And remember, some obstacles are illusions. They exist only in the mind, limiting beliefs, old identities, stories you inherited that no longer serve. These are not real walls, they are shadows. And when you shine awareness on them, they dissolve. Do not confuse a perceived limit with an actual one. You are capable of more than you know. You are not here to live a frictionless life. You are here to expand, to alchemize challenge into wisdom, to meet difficulty not as an enemy, but as a portal. Because on the other side of every obstacle is a stronger version of you, a clearer alignment, a deeper connection to the universe, and more than that, often an even greater blessing than the one you first imagined. So don't curse the detour. Bless it. Don't fear the resistance. Lean into it. Don't assume the no is final. Sometimes it's a sacred not yet. And sometimes it's the doorway to a better yes. Chapter 12. Receiving, letting it in when your manifestation arrives. There comes a moment on the path of conscious creation when the prayer you whispered is finally answered, when the desire you shaped with intention arrives at your door, not in theory, but in form. The vision has crystallized. The dream has taken root in reality. But here's the paradox. Many people do the work to manifest, but few know how to receive. They speak their desires into the universe, align their thoughts and energy, even recognize the signs that it's on its way. But when the moment of arrival comes, they shrink, they question, they block. Because while asking is an act of courage, receiving is an act of worthiness. To receive is not a passive experience, it is a sacred skill, a spiritual muscle. It requires openness, trust, vulnerability, and a sense of inner deservingness. And if you have lived your life with struggle as the familiar soundtrack or self-sacrifice as your identity, then ease might feel foreign. Abundance might feel uncomfortable. When the very thing you asked for shows up, it might feel too good to be true. And this is where many unconsciously resist the very blessings they've called in. You must understand, receiving is not something you do with your hands. It is something you do with your energy. It is a state of allowing, a frequency of openness, a vibration of yes. But yes is not just a word. It is a whole-body state. It is unclenching the jaw. It is exhaling tension from the shoulders. It is quieting the inner critic that says, "You're not ready. You don't deserve this. It won't last." Many ask, few prepare. Many dream, few make room. But manifestation is not magic. It is partnership. The universe can deliver, but you must let it in. And letting it in means stretching your self-concept to match your new reality. It means breaking the habits of disbelief. It means standing in the frequency of what you once only hoped for and saying, "Yes, I receive. Yes, I am worthy. Yes, I trust this." One of the most powerful ways to prepare to receive is to practice embodiment. Don't wait for the desire to arrive to feel the emotion. Begin living from the energy of having. Feel it now. Walk through your day as if the answer has already arrived. Speak, move, and make decisions from that version of you, the version who already has it. This isn't pretending, it's preparing. The universe matches energy, not words. And if your energy says, "I don't believe it," even when your lips say, "I want it," the signal gets crossed. Another block to receiving is attachment. When you cling to how something should arrive, when you obsess over the details, when you fixate on timing or form, you close the flow. Attachment contracts. It signals fear. It's an attempt to control the outcome. But true receiving is fluid. It is humble enough to say, "This," or something better. "In this time," or a higher time. "Through this path," or a wiser path. Detachment is not giving up. It's opening up. It's surrendering your grip so that grace can move. Let go of the idea that receiving is always glamorous. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes the gift comes in unfamiliar wrapping. Sometimes it arrives through challenge or change. Sometimes it doesn't look like what you pictured, but feels exactly like what you needed. If you are too rigid in your expectations, you may miss the miracle. Learn to recognize blessings in all forms. And perhaps the most subtle block to receiving is guilt. This shows up in the soft self-talk that says, "Who am I to have this? What will others think? What if I lose it?" This is where your inner thermostat kicks in. The part of your identity that has been trained to tolerate only a certain level of love, money, success, or joy. Anything beyond that limit feels unsafe. And so, unconsciously, you self-sabotage. You delay. You dim. Not because you don't want the manifestation, but because part of you is still healing. This is why self-worth is the container that holds every manifestation. Without it, abundance leaks out. Opportunities dissolve. Love feels fleeting. But with it, with a solid inner knowing that says, "I am allowed to thrive, to succeed, to be happy without apology," you become a magnet for more. Here's the truth most people miss. The moment you see the blessing is not when it began, it's just when it landed. The work, the alignment, the shifts, they've been building. The universe has been rearranging. The seeds have already been growing underground. So when it blooms, when the result shows up, don't act surprised. Celebrate, yes, but also acknowledge yourself. Acknowledge the journey. Acknowledge the inner becoming that led to this. Receiving is not about waiting for something to be handed to you. It's about aligning so fully with what you desire that when it comes, it fits like a key in a lock that has always been yours. You are not lucky. You are in sync. You are not being tested. You are being rewarded. And the reward is not just the thing, it's the expansion of you that made the thing possible. So how do you live in a state of active receiving? Start by making space. If you're calling in abundance, clear clutter, physical, mental, emotional. Let go of what no longer matches your future. If you're calling in love, love yourself in ways you've never dared before. Treat yourself how you want to be treated. If you're calling in opportunity, say yes to smaller ones now. Open the energetic door. Then expect it. Expect your manifestation, not with entitlement, but with certainty. Expect signs, expect nudges, expect support. When you live in expectation, you heighten your awareness. You tune into the moments that matter. You notice the small invitations that lead to the big breakthroughs. And when it arrives, receive it fully. Don't diminish it. Don't say, "It's not a big deal." Don't worry that it won't last. Feel it. Savor it. Soak it in. The more you celebrate what you receive, the more you signal to the universe that you are ready for more. Here's a practice to open the channels of receiving. Each morning, place your hands over your heart. Say aloud, "I am open. I am ready. I am willing to receive all that is meant for me." Look for evidence throughout the day. Small blessings, helpful people, signs. Acknowledge them. At night, write a list of what you received, big or small. A kind word, a new idea, a shift in perspective. Gratitude expands receptivity. Challenge any thought that says, "I'm not ready." Respond with, "I am more ready than I know." The universe makes no mistakes. Receiving is a sacred act. It is how you complete the loop of creation. It is how the invisible becomes visible. It is how the gift becomes real. So the next time something beautiful enters your life, pause, feel it, own it, let it land in your body, and say, with love, "Yes, I receive." Because the moment you stop pushing, the moment you stop questioning, the moment you simply open your arms and heart and say yes, is the moment the universe pours more than you ever imagined into your life. Chapter 13. Trust, surrendering to divine timing. There is a sacred rhythm to everything, a timing, a tempo, a divine unfolding that cannot be rushed no matter how deeply you desire it. The sun does not rise early because you are impatient. The seed does not sprout before its season simply because you are eager to harvest. And the universe, in all its wisdom, does not deliver your manifestations on the schedule of your mind, but on the timeline of your soul. This is why trust is the final and perhaps most essential key in the language of divine manifestation. It is the unseen glue that binds intention to outcome. It is the space between asking and receiving. Trust is the quiet knowing that says, even if I don't see the evidence yet, I believe something is moving. I believe something is aligning. It's choosing faith when nothing around you looks like progress. It's saying, thank you, even while you wait. It's staying open even when the doors appear closed. We are a generation raised on immediacy, instant messages, same-day shipping, quick results. So when manifestation takes time, and it always takes some time, we doubt the process. We wonder if we did something wrong, if the signs were misread, if the universe misunderstood our request. But timing is not a mistake. Timing is the message. Delay is not denial. It is design. Every moment of waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. The universe is not slow, it is exact. Divine timing operates according to alignment, not urgency. It considers all the threads you cannot see, all the people being moved into position, all the inner shifts still unfolding, all the lessons still in bloom. You may be ready in desire, but are you ready in vibration, in belief, in capacity? The universe waits until the whole field is ready, not just you, because what it delivers is not random, it is woven. Imagine this: a rose bush is ready to bloom. The buds are full, but the sun is still behind the clouds. The soil is slightly too cold. The bees are still sleeping, so the universe waits. Not to withhold beauty, but to ensure that when it arrives, it thrives. When it blooms, it lasts. You too are a rose. Your desires are not fragile wishes, they are sacred activations. They are part of something larger. Trust requires you to believe in that bigger picture, even when you can only see a pixel. And yet, trusting divine timing does not mean sitting passively. It does not mean doing nothing while waiting for the sky to open. Trust is active surrender. It is the daily decision to keep your heart open, to keep tending the soil, to keep choosing alignment, even when the harvest has not yet come. It is asking, what can I align within me while I wait? How can I grow in faith while the miracle prepares itself? Often, the wait is where the real work happens. The in-between is where your strength is built, your worth is remembered, your trust is solidified. If everything arrived instantly, you would never evolve into the version of yourself truly able to hold what you're asking for. And the universe doesn't just care about getting you what you want, it cares about who you become in the process. It is not in the business of instant gratification, it is in the art of sacred transformation. But let's be honest, trust is hard when life feels uncertain, when the thing you prayed for hasn't arrived, when others seem to manifest effortlessly while you wait in silence. In those moments, your old fears rise. Your mind whispers, it's not working. Maybe it's not meant for you. But you must understand, those voices are not truth. They are tests. Opportunities to practice what you believe. To anchor your faith, not in circumstance, but in essence. When you find yourself doubting, return to presence. Trust lives in the now, not in the imagined future, not in the feared delay, but in this breath, this moment. Can you trust that right here, right now, you are exactly where you're meant to be, even if it's not where you planned? A beautiful way to strengthen trust is to reflect on past manifestations. Think of all the times the universe came through, often better than expected. The serendipitous moments, the perfect timing that only made sense in hindsight. Write them down, create a trust list, a sacred inventory of evidence that life is working for you. Let it remind you that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. It means it's still becoming. Another powerful practice is affirming trust out loud. Words carry vibration. They tune your energy. Try repeating, "I trust the timing of my life. I am always in the right place at the right time. What is mine cannot miss me. I surrender my timeline to divine alignment." Say them not to convince yourself, but to remember what your soul already knows. Trust is not about getting the answer now, it's about knowing that the answer exists and that it is unfolding behind the scenes, even in silence. You can also anchor trust through embodiment. When you feel anxious about timing, bring your awareness into your body. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath moving in and out. This presence will remind you that you are supported, that you are held, that you are not waiting alone in a void. You are inside a living universe that is listening, aligning, preparing. Sometimes, divine timing arrives suddenly. What you waited months for shows up in a single day. Other times, the unfolding is slow, like waves carving the shore. But either way, trust is what allows you to remain aligned, peaceful, receptive. Without trust, you leak energy, you grasp, you chase. And that grasping repels the very thing you're trying to receive. But when you settle into trust, you radiate magnetism. You draw in support, guidance, and manifestation naturally. And here's the final truth. The wait is part of the gift. Not just what arrives, but who you become while waiting. Stronger, wiser, softer, more present, more trusting, more whole. That is the hidden blessing of divine timing. It expands you so that you are not only ready to receive your manifestation, but to sustain it, embody it, become it. So the next time you feel frustrated that things aren't happening fast enough, breathe. Lean back into the rhythm of the universe. Remind yourself, I am not late. I am not behind. I am exactly where I need to be. And everything I've asked for is finding its way to me in the perfect moment. You don't need to know when. You just need to know who you are. You are worthy. You are aligned. And you are always right on time. Chapter 14. Signs and Synchronicities, the universe's daily dialogue. Life is always speaking to you, even when you think it's silent. The universe is never mute. It's communicating constantly, fluently, deliberately. But its language is subtle, woven into the details, echoed in the timing, stitched through the ordinary. Most of the time, it's not grand or thunderous. Instead, the messages arrive in whispers, signs, nudges, repetitions, and synchronicities, gentle threads of confirmation that pull you closer to what you've asked for. To live in alignment with the universe is to become fluent in this dialogue. It's to wake each day with eyes that search beyond the surface, ears that listen between the words, and a heart open to surprise. When you start to pay attention, you'll see that the signs have been there all along. The same number showing up every day, a song playing at just the right moment, a phrase repeated by 3 different people within hours, the feather that lands at your feet, the phone call that arrives the moment you think of someone. These are not coincidences, they are communications. And the more you notice them, the more they multiply. Synchronicity is the universe's way of saying, I see you, I hear you, you're on the path. It's the energetic alignment between your inner world and the outer reality, an invisible bridge where intention meets creation. When you think of something and the external world mirrors it back, that's not a fluke. That's resonance. That's the frequency of your thoughts rippling outward and bouncing back with evidence. The Swiss psychologist Carl Jung defined synchronicity as meaningful coincidence, an experience where two or more events seem related, not by cause, but by connection. They feel divinely orchestrated, too perfect to be random, and indeed they are. Synchronicities are the breadcrumbs of the universe, guiding you step by step toward your manifestation. But here's the key. The universe doesn't send signs to convince you. It sends them to confirm you. You're not meant to rely on signs to believe. Belief comes first. The signs show up to echo what you already know within. They're like reflections in a mirror, not commands from above. If you constantly ask for signs but ignore your inner truth, the signs won't help. But if you align with your intuition, the signs become luminous affirmations along the way. Some signs come in numbers. You wake up at 3:33. The receipt total is 111. A license plate flashes 777 just as you're asking for guidance. These repeating numbers, often called angel numbers, carry vibrational meanings. 111 is the signal of new beginnings and alignment. 222 speaks of harmony, balance, and divine partnership. 444 reminds you of protection, stability, and angelic presence. 555 heralds change. 888 hums with the energy of abundance. But beyond general meanings, ask yourself, what does this number feel like to me? What was I thinking the moment I saw it? The context is often the message. Other signs arrive as symbols. A hawk circling overhead, a dragonfly brushing your skin, a rainbow just as you declare your intention, a quote that jumps out from a book, perfectly phrased for your exact question. The repetition is your clue. The timing is your clue. The emotional charge is your clue. It's not about superstition, it's about sensitivity. It's about learning to recognize when something breaks the pattern of the ordinary to grab your attention. Here's the beautiful truth. The universe speaks your language. If music is how you connect, it will use lyrics. If nature is where you feel most alive, it will use birds, weather, sky. If you're visual, it will show you images. If you're emotional, it will stir sensations. The universe tailors its messages uniquely to you. Your history, your wiring, your intuitive sense. So your signs may not look like someone else's, and that's perfect. But signs aren't just confirmations, they're also corrections. Sometimes when you're veering off course, the universe will send signs to nudge you back. You'll feel resistance, red flags, sudden roadblocks. These aren't punishments, they are guidance. The person who doesn't call back, the opportunity that slips away, the contract that falls through. It may hurt at first, but in time, you see, that no was divine protection. That delay was divine alignment. That door was never meant for you. The challenge is that many people only look for signs in crisis. They plead for a signal when they're desperate. They beg the universe to intervene only when fear clouds their clarity. But when you build a daily relationship with the universe, when you listen not just in panic but in presence, then the signs become natural, fluid, and constant. You stop needing signs as proof. You start welcoming them as reminders. To build this dialogue, here's a practice you can do. Each morning, say aloud or write, "Dear Universe, show me a clear and beautiful sign that I am on the right path today. Let me recognize it easily." Go about your day with relaxed awareness. Don't force it, don't obsess, just be open. When something catches your attention repeatedly, pause. Ask, what was I just thinking or feeling before this appeared? Write it down. Keeping a sign journal strengthens your awareness and trains your subconscious to tune in. Say thank you, even for the smallest winks. Gratitude opens the channel even wider. And one more thing. The universe doesn't just send you signs, it sends you as a sign. You are the answer to someone else's prayer. Your words, your presence, your timing may be the very synchronicity that someone else needed. The conversation you almost didn't have. The encouragement you gave without knowing how timely it was. The energy you carry is not random. You are part of the unfolding. You are part of the guidance system. Don't just look for signs, be one. Living in alignment with signs and synchronicities is about softening into awareness. It's not about controlling what shows up. It's about trusting that what does show up carries meaning. The more present you are, the more miraculous life becomes. A dream leads to a message. A message leads to a meeting. A meeting leads to an opportunity. Life becomes a tapestry of interconnected threads, each one shining with intention. You begin to realize the universe is not out there somewhere. It's here, now, speaking to you through everything and everyone, through every moment, through every rhythm, through every unfolding. So don't brush off the coincidence. Don't ignore the repeat. Don't dismiss the moment that feels too perfect. Because it is perfect, it's a conversation, and the universe is still speaking. Just look closer, listen deeper, and the answers you've been asking for will rise. Chapter 15. Living the Dialogue, Becoming a Manifestation Channel. There is a moment when the student of manifestation no longer waits for signs, no longer begs for clarity, no longer doubts the whispers within. There is a sacred shift where the seeker becomes the embodiment, where the dialogue with the universe is no longer separate but seamless. This is when you stop simply listening to the universe and you begin living as it too. You become a channel, a vessel, a walking manifestation of divine alignment. This is the final stage of the path, not because the journey ends, but because it now flows through you so naturally, so consistently, that your life itself becomes the sign. Your presence becomes the frequency. Your words, your movement, your choices, your joy, they ripple into the field like sacred instructions, like prayers already answered. And from this space, you no longer try to manifest. You become the manifestation. To live the dialogue is to know, moment by moment, that you are not alone. You are not separate from the field that forms your reality. You are a thread within the greater weave, a unique spark of the infinite, chosen to express something through human form. Your intentions, when aligned, are not demands. They are echoes of what the universe already wants for you. Your desires, when purified through presence and trust, are blueprints for your becoming. And so, you begin to live differently. You move with reverence. You speak with awareness. You walk into rooms not to seek something, but to radiate something. You stop asking the world to prove itself to you, and you begin proving your alignment to the world, not with effort, but with embodiment. This embodiment is not about perfection, it is about congruence. It is the harmony between your inner energy and outer expression. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, they hum in the same key. They flow in the same current. When you speak gratitude, you feel it. When you visualize your dream, you live from it. When you ask for guidance, you also listen for it. There is no longer a gap between what you believe and how you behave. And from this harmony, life becomes magnetic. Opportunities appear with ease. Connections click into place. Synchronicities become so frequent, they feel like the norm. This is not magic, it is resonance. You have attuned your frequency to the life you once imagined. You are no longer trying to attract, you are the attraction point. But to remain a clear channel, you must continue to tend your energy. A vessel collects dust, a heart accumulates noise, a mind absorbs stories. So you return, each day, to the practices that realign you. Stillness, breath, gratitude, presence. These are not just rituals, they are tuning forks. They keep you clear so that you don't distort the signal. You are no longer just a receiver of signs, you are now the broadcaster. Living the dialogue also means acting as a translator for others. You begin to sense the energy behind their words. You see the signs they cannot yet interpret. You feel the heaviness in their field before they speak it aloud. And from your place of clarity, you gently guide, not to fix, not to force, but to remind, to help them remember their own access, their own ability to commune with the sacred. This is sacred service, not as a role, but as a way of being. You become the mirror that reflects others back to their truth. Your presence is the sign that tells them, you are on the path. You are enough. You are supported. Your life becomes a living example that it is possible to trust, to align, to co-create with something greater. To live the dialogue also means releasing the fear of being misunderstood. You no longer shape your truth to please the crowd. You no longer dilute your knowing to avoid discomfort. You speak with clarity because you are connected to something higher. Your words are not for approval, they are for transmission, for resonance, for activation. You realize that every action is a message, every decision is a declaration, every thought is a creation. So you become intentional, not rigid, but aware. You don't need to control outcomes. You simply become the energy of what you desire. You walk as if it's already done, and the universe responds, not because you forced it, but because you flowed with it. In this state, even your challenges change. You no longer see them as blocks, you see them as recalibrations. Every delay becomes data, every detour becomes direction. You meet resistance with curiosity. You meet uncertainty with trust. You meet contrast with clarity. And this response keeps the dialogue open. It keeps you attuned. Living the dialogue also means staying open to evolution. What served yesterday may no longer serve tomorrow. The guidance will shift, the desires will deepen, the visions will grow, and you must be willing to evolve with them, to let go of old versions of yourself, to mourn what is ending while celebrating what is arriving, to trust that the universe is not just answering your desires, but maturing them. And above all, you live with devotion, not to an external God, not to a system, but to the conversation itself, to the mystery, to the unfolding. You live in devotion to the unseen force that breathes through everything, the same force that sculpted galaxies and sings through your intuition. You live in awe of the fact that you are part of this great weaving, that your thoughts matter, that your energy moves worlds. So what does it mean to live the dialogue? It means your manifestations are no longer separate from your identity. They are simply reflections of your alignment. It means you speak less from need and more from knowing. It means you listen, not just for signs, but for sacred instruction. It means your life is the answer you were once asking for. It means you are no longer looking for miracles. You are the miracle. This is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of the embodiment. You are now the channel, the message, the sacred bridge. You are how the universe speaks. Conclusion. The universe is still speaking now, so are you. You have walked through the invisible corridors of energy. You have tuned your inner ear to the whispers beneath reality. You have begun to understand that life was never random. It was responsive. Every chapter, every insight, Every moment in this journey has led you back to one unshakable truth. The universe has always been speaking, and now you know how to listen. Not with your ears alone, but with your whole being. You've learned that every thought is a message, every emotion is a vibration, every belief is a command. You now see the difference between asking and aligning, between controlling and allowing, between wanting and becoming. You've come to realize that manifestation is not a trick or a transaction. It is a relationship, a rhythm, a sacred dialogue with life itself. You are no longer waiting for signs from outside, because you've become a sign, a reflection of what's possible, a living frequency of what alignment looks like when embodied. The universe responds to you now because it recognizes its own voice within you. This is not the end. This is your new beginning. A beginning where every sunrise becomes a signal, every dream becomes a download, every challenge becomes a coded message. You don't need to force outcomes. You don't need to prove anything. You simply need to remain in the conversation, to stay attuned, to walk as if the universe is your closest friend, because it is, to trust like the air is holding you, because it always has been. Let this be your daily practice. Breathe with awareness. Speak with intention. Move with purpose. Listen deeply. Celebrate often. And trust. Wildly, patiently, wholeheartedly. You have the tools. You have the knowing. You are the vessel, the voice, the vibration. So now, live the message. Let your joy be your guide. Let your heart be your compass. Let your life become the sacred echo of the infinite. Because the universe is still speaking, and now, so are you. If this message has stirred something within you, don't let it fade. Like, comment and subscribe and keep the dialogue alive. Revisit this book often. Let it be your companion. Start your own manifestation journal. Record signs, synchronicities, dreams, and inner nudges. Speak to the universe every day. Ask, listen, receive. Share this wisdom with someone who needs to remember. Be their sign. And above all, keep showing up as the embodiment of the reality you desire. You are a creator, a communicator, a cosmic co-author. So now, step forward and let your life say clearly, boldly, beautifully, I am aligned with the universe. I am the manifestation made visible. I am how the universe speaks.